Celebrated innovator Ian Taylor has been in talks with Sam Morgan since the CovidCard's inception. He believes the card could avert future lockdowns, but its development is being hampered by ministers out of their depth. And he says some frank words for Kris Faafoi in particular. Taylor says he understands Morgan's frustration, but he is urging him not to walk away.
I'd really like to try and talk him out of it. The efforts that he has put in and the solution he's come up with is one I think is just way too important to let fall off the radar, really.
With the greatest of respect, why do we need him to execute the project?
I remember the first time I even heard about it was way back in April when Sam sent me an email. One, he said, look, you guys know about apps. Do you agree that an app isn't the solution for this? And we did, I did entirely. But what really impressed me was where he was coming from. He was looking way out. He said to me, we will go through this lockdown, we will flatten this curve, we will come out, but we will go back again unless we have the tools to deal with it. And then he said, and the tools, we can't be relying on cell phones and apps and things like that because they ignore the most vulnerable. We have to find a tool that everybody can use. Nobody has to have any expertise to use it, and it is free to everyone. And that resonated with me immediately. And basically, he was describing the CovidCard. And, as I've seen the way this is rolled out, and I understand Sam's frustration. I've been a witness on the edge of it, of just the way the thing has gone around and round in circles. This was a decision that needed to be made really early. I heard Minister Faafoi the other day. So, that was April. So, 5 months, whatever it is. Minister Faafoi said the other day that it's a number of things we're looking at. I don't imagine I'll put anything in front of Cabinet before the end of the year. Well, my image immediately was Nero fiddling while Rome burned. And my message to Faafoi is we are on fire and we need to stop fiddling.
So explain to me the frustration. Why do you think it has come to this?
I think we need to put it in context. This is a situation that, we really have never experienced anywhere before. This is a virus that is surprising us every day. So, you need to be able to act and respond really fast. And, I think some great things have been done. The close contact tracing team are doing a remarkable job, but we aren't giving them the very best tools to use. So if I was being frank, governments and government departments are not equipped to deal with an emergency as big as this that needs response as fast as it does. And we're seeing that.
So why is that? Are you trying to say diplomatically too much bureaucracy?
Well, it's not too much bureaucracy. Bureaucracy is bureaucracy. And, when you hit a situation like this, you need to be able to cut through all of that. And, I can give you a really good example of the kind of thinking that happened. And, New Zealand Trade and Enterprise, that's a bureaucracy. When we needed something to happen really fast for COVID, they approached us and they approved something in less than a week because they liked the idea. Now, there are people in there who can, inside bureaucracies, who perhaps can do this. But if you looked out and saw what Sam and his team had done, and, I looked in from the outside initially, I have no idea why people are treating Sam the way they did and why Minister Faafoi seemed to dismiss Sam today as being sort of petulant and having one of his day problems. Minister Faafoi and those ministers, if they can't respond fast and quickly enough, they need to step aside.
OK, this is what Kris Faafoi says. If you were spending $100 million, which is what they are telling us it will cost to roll this card out, it needs to be tried and tested. And he is not going to put that to one side and rush something through when he is spending that much money. Does he have a point?
No, he doesn't. He doesn't have a point at all. Auckland was losing $76 million a day. In the time that level 3 was on, we're talking about $2 billion. And he's happy to spend $2 billion, not happy to go back and ask the question. If everybody was wearing a COVID card 3 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago, how fast would we have found all of the contacts? Not just the contacts that the person could remember, but the contacts that they couldn't remember. Now, my prediction from the COVID card is where the Prime Minister at 9:15, the first test was found at 2:30 in the afternoon. At 9:15, all she could tell us was that 4 people had it. At 9:15, if everyone had been using the COVID card, they may well have even tracked the source of it. They certainly would have tracked all 3 weeks of everybody who had the COVID card in contact. Now, if Minister Faafoi thinks paying $100 million to keep Auckland out of level 4 for the past 3 weeks is a risk, then the other risk he's taken has just cost us way more. And to put that $100 million in context, there are off-ramps all the way along it. You could be spending $10 million, say, and this is to buy all the cards and to make sure every New Zealander has got one. It's buying this asset, and if they had that in place, one of the things they designed was a whole lot of off-ramps. You know, if a vaccine came, we'd only have spent this much by this time. But if they said, let's spend $10 million and make sure this goes into every isolation unit now, it's compulsory for everyone to wear, compulsory for anyone who works there, compulsory for anyone who goes in there. You need maybe, 10,000 cards. You order those, fly them in, get them on, and now you're testing it in a real-life situation where we know there is risk. Taking it over to Rotorua and spending $1 million seeing if people feel happy about wearing a card around their neck is just ludicrous. Actually, I did have to step back. I promised myself I wouldn't get angry. I was going to be really reasonable. I'll tell you what frustrates me most. I have got 3 moko from the age of 2 down to the age of 7 weeks. What is happening in our country, by the thing that caught us by surprise, it's no blame. Nobody's blamed for this. But the way we respond to this is going to impact our mokopuna for a long time. We talk about a generation that came out of depression. We talk about the generations that came out of the First and Second World War. There will be a generation coming out of this. And if Minister Faafoi wants to sit around fiddling, then he really needs to be moved aside. This is about our mokopuna.
So bottom line, who or what's the problem here in a sentence or less? Ian, sum it up for us.
I think probably the problem is that, bureaucracies are overwhelmed. They are not designed to move at the speed that this virus is moving.
And that was Ian Taylor of Animation Research Limited in Dunedin. And we've just got a statement in from the Ministry of Health. It's attributed to Shane Hunter, the Deputy Director General of Data and Digital. It says the Ministry of Health continues to work with interested individuals from the Public-Private Partnership Group to investigate the feasibility of a Bluetooth-enabled COVID card as part of a suite of technology solutions helping New Zealand tackle COVID-19. The statement goes on to say the next stage involves a trial of the card in Rotorua later this month, which will determine the COVID card's value for contact tracing and to assess its use in real-life scenarios. It says that this is just one effective tool in a suite of tools, basically. For example, the New Zealand COVID Tracer app now has more than 2 million registered users, representing about 50% of the population aged 15 and over. More than 1.7 million scans are being done each day, the statement says. That's interesting. 2 million registered users, but only 1.7 million scans a day.